Good evening and welcome to this March 19th, 2026 Select Board meeting. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. The names of members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed. And other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law. So we'll approve the minutes from February 19th and March 5th. Do I have a
I'll make a
motion?
motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those pass. We have public comment. Does anyone from the floor or the Zoom land want to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on. So tonight we have visitors, so I'm going to change the agenda just slightly to accommodate the pavement management program presentation and the summary of findings. If you'd like to present before we get to the other agenda items, you may.
I think we, with permission, can we start our screen share?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's open.
While Tito is getting that up and running, my name is Anthony Garrow, Senior Vice President with Beta Group. I head up the asset management division across New England, primarily focused on Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Tito Sanchez and I work together on providing geospatial services. Tito and I have been working together for almost 10 years. I've been at pavement management for a long time. I graduated from Westfield State in 1989, started doing asset management at that point. So a lot of changes have taken place with technology, and that's for sure. And we're going to talk a little bit tonight about the technology that we use to evaluate the roads and ultimately the data that was collected and information that we can talk about in terms of helping the town develop a plan of action.
Okay, thank you.
Making out, Tito.
Recording.
Yep, just
Okay.
you.
There we go. The PowerPoint's going to show up on, okay,
Yeah.
great. I'm better looking far than I am up close. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to put my glasses on, so for sure. Again, thank you for inviting us in tonight to present the summary of findings on the pavement management program. We've been working with the town since the spring, and you may have seen our data collection vehicle out here during the springtime and collecting the information. But now here we are, we've collected the information, processed the data, analyzed it, and now we're here ready to present it. And we've also been working on the development of a multi-year plan. So the benefits of pavement management, primarily it's going to provide you with information that's going to allow you to be proactive rather than reactive. The roadway network is one of your biggest investments. It's important not just to provide transportation, but also in terms of providing safe roadways, emergency response, and ultimately too, this is a tourist area as well. I know I enjoy coming out to this part of the state, so it's important to maintain your roads at a good level of service for that as well, and maintaining your economic development. But, ultimately the data that was collected and now you have as a resource for planning your projects moving ahead. You have the foundation for decision making. There's a host of information that we're going to talk about tonight that's going to give you a lot of opportunity to analyze your roads moving forward. So pavement management starts with the pavement deterioration curve. So the graphic that you see there on the right, every roadway in town was scored 0 to 100, 100 being the best, a road that was recently improved, 0 being the worst case. Each roadway scored 0 to 100, but today the road is, for example, an 80. But if you're not going to improve that roadway this year, then you're going to have deterioration that's taking place. And you can see that this winter in particular, where you had the freeze-thaw cycles taking place, the snow, the impacts of that on the roadway were significant this winter, probably more than what we've had in quite some time. So having this information now is going to be very useful in developing your plan of improvements. So the program itself, it allows you to understand your roadway's needs, based on the information that we collected, identify different repair strategies that we've been talking about that are appropriate for the town and for the different roadways, but ultimately developing a backlog of improvements. You know, what is the cost to improve all your roadways across the community? And then the CIP tool as well. That's fun, yeah, it's good. Typical project, like the one we just completed here. First step is setting up the program, configuring the database, establishing the GIS mapping. We have information from the town. We also have information from the state available from Mass DOT and GeoDot that Tito works with very closely. And that establishes the foundation for your Chapter 90 money that you receive each year. The pavement inspection process, that's where we drove all the roadways, collected the imagery that was utilized for determining the scores. So it was a non-biased approach, wasn't something that we did manually, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Existing conditions was then provided in a draft form based on the data that was collected. And then the planning and prioritization and system maintenance, those two tasks you can see are shown in green, are an iterative process. Those happen annually. So the program is you're maintaining the system on an annual basis, and your priorities do change over time. So each year you need to review your plan. Of course, your funding is always subject to change, or priorities change as well. So it's a fluid document. And you have a big investment here. You hired Beta to develop your plan, and we want to help you moving forward to maintain your program. So the program itself, you have 45 miles of town accepted roadways, of which a little over 36 miles are paved. So the paved roadway miles are the ones that we focused on our inspections. The gravel roadways also are town accepted roads, are in the program, but we evaluated the paved roadway miles as part of this project. Total of almost, say, 77 miles of total roads make up your entire roadway network. And that also includes your private roads, unaccepted roads, and also the state roads within the town. But again, 36.1 miles of paved roads is what the focus was on for the inspections. So the technology that we used, the technology's been evolving. We've been providing pavement management services for over 20 years. One of the first projects I did, it was just done on a pad of paper. Then we went to spreadsheets. Then we went to some GIS mapping. It was very subjective in nature. I would look at a road and score it a 50. Tito would look at the road and score it 70, say, for instance. But now with the AI technology and machine learning, it's consistent across the network. Every roadway scored the same based on the distresses that the AI technology can look at and see and then calculate. So this is the vehicle that we use for collecting the information. You can see on the roof of our vehicle, there's a LiDAR sensor that's affixed to that. And then we also had 360 imagery and forward-facing and rear-facing cameras as well. So there's a lot of good information captured that now you have at your fingertips. You can access it through the desktop level or your phone or on a tablet. So a lot of good information that you now have available to you. And again, each roadway was scored 0 to 100, 100 being the best, 100 and 0 being the worst. Here are some examples of roads. So Bean Hill Road scored a 100. So that's a roadway that was paved recently. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce that. Thank you for that. So that road scored a 90. So it's still a road in very good condition, probably paved about 2 or 3 years ago. These are roads in good condition. Now, keep in mind, we have photos every 20 feet on every road in town. So you've got a lot of good information that you have, it's a good resource. A lot of towns have been using it actually as a resource to look at issues that have happened during snowplow removal. Mailboxes may have been knocked down by accident, things like that, signs. So now you have a good resource, a good snapshot of information from the spring. Next slide, Tito. Fair condition roads, now we're going down the curve. So we started at 100 to 90. Now we're at a road that scored a 75, Rattlesnake Mountain Road. Love that name. So that's a really neat road, very rural in nature. Then East Main Street scored a 60. And what you can start to see now in these photos, you can start to see the distresses that you would see that score road at that level. So you've got alligator cracking starting to come through, longitudinal cracking, transverse cracking, edge cracking. So now the roadways are starting to fall down the curve because of the host of distresses that exist. And then the last slide, poor condition roadways. So this is Pixley Hill Road. And now this road here, you can start to see, although not a major road in the community, but every roadway is important. So it's all part of your network. We understand this road, it's in poor condition. It could be an issue with the base here. It probably was just an old cow path at some point, probably, would be my guess. So it doesn't have a really strong base. It's probably more of an oil sand type road over time. So that road doesn't have much stability to it. So that's why it's going to react more to the seasonal variations in temperature. And then the last one, a 14. Every town has a 14. So we're working in over 100 towns across New England. And, we see these scores in every single town. You're going to have a variation, ranging from roads that are going to score in, the low 20s, the teens, all the way up to, as high as 90 to 100. So now, you ask, we have all this information. How do we now analyze the data? So what we do is we establish what are called repair bands. And this is just essentially grouping of the roads based on their scores. So the 0 to 100 scores are put into groups. You can see here, I'm going to start at the bottom of the table. So roadways that are in very poor condition, like the ones that we just looked at the previous slide, are scoring in the 0 to 50 range. So they're in very poor condition, a variety of different distresses, and most likely requiring a more expensive proposition. Now you're going to go further up the curve, 50 to 65, poor condition roads, preventative maintenance or preservation type treatments that you could apply, 65 to 80, and then routine maintenance and defer. So every roadway is going to have something programmed for it. So even if a roadway today is a 90, it's still going to fall into a routine maintenance category that would require some type of a treatment. It could be crack sealing. It could be some type of a surface treatment. There's a lot of different opportunities out there to try different treatments and activities to maintain your roads. So your overall score is a 77.8 or almost a 78, which is actually a very good score. So on average, the scores that we see for rural communities like this are anywhere from as low as a 58 to as high as an 82. So your roads are really scored very well. Now you have a relatively small network of roads to maintain. The road networks that we see across New England, Massachusetts in particular, in this region, typically anywhere from 30 to 300 road miles. But scoring a 78 is a good score. And, again, 36.1 miles of paved roads make up the 78 score. Your backlog is about $4 million, excuse me. And what that means is, what would it take to improve all of your roadways today? So that's not practical. You only have so much money available through Chapter 90 and through local appropriations. So the idea now would be to develop a prioritized plan based on the information and then based on the budget that you have available. So this sets the stage or the foundation for planning moving forward. This is just further breaking out the information into different pie charts, widgets, things that Tito can speak to when we get into the GIS interface that we've developed for the town. GIS mapping, nothing greater than seeing information on a map and being able to see the scores of the roads across the town. So thematically, we can map different colors based on the different repairs or conditions that the roads are currently in. So anytime you want a map, talk to Tito. He can definitely provide that for you. Some towns ask for different maps. There might be, different purposes for maps, but don't be afraid to ask for anything that we haven't provided. We can certainly provide to you. So this is the Manage My Roads platform that we've developed and we've been deploying to communities. This is one of the first stages of our program, and now we've offered some enhancements as well. And I'm going to let Tito talk to this.
Yeah, so this is a program that's non-proprietary. It's all driven by ArcGIS Online. We provided Michael and Bob with login credentials for them to go in and interact with the data itself. To Tony's point, unfortunately, of course, this is just a static PowerPoint image, but if you were to zoom in to any roadway, you'll start to see points show up on the road. And like Tony was indicating before, every 20 feet we'll take a picture. So as you zoom in closer to a road and you click on the point, you'll be able to see a representative picture of that road at the time of the data collection.
They have the screenshots there.
Oh, we do?
If you click in here. There you go.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Look at that. Good thinking, Tony.
Yeah. And I think
so here we go. So basically what ends up happening is as you start zooming in closer and closer, not only do you see the roadway information, as far as the banding goes on the left-hand side, everything's broken out by that band that Tony was showing you earlier. But now the closer you zoom in, you start to see these little points develop. And those are locations where you can start to see the roadway images. So treat it as a system of record. As you go out and you actively collect data, you can always go back and see, we did that scan back in 2025. You can see the condition of the road at that time. Again, we deployed this with the town in mind. This has been how many years, Tony, of feedback from?
Probably 8 years.
Personnel, 8 years now. So this is a product of people like you, where you provide us information saying what you want to see the most. On the left-hand side, we put in some information that right off the bat you get to see that's really critical. How many miles of road we inspected, the square yardage, the total estimated cost of improvements that Tony alluded to before. The little pie chart that you're seeing there on the left-hand side is also interactive. As you start clicking on each pie, only those roads that represent that pie will highlight on the map itself. And then as you're zooming in and out, only the roads that show up on the screen here will populate the table down at the bottom. And that also includes other metrics and information that you can use for your capital improvement plan down the road. On the right-hand side at the top, you see your total roadway network score, which is a 77.8. Right below that, it's a breakdown of all the roadway by type. We have since, as Tony mentioned, improved this a little bit more now so that when we receive roadway history over the past couple of years, that's included in here now. And the nice thing about that is that you get to see trends and the roadway data. You click on a road, it'll give you the history of that road. Say, 10 years ago, you went in and did a particular pavement treatment. You can go through the years and see what's been done after that as well. And then just one last thing to note too, on the lower right-hand corner, we've got what we call our pavement management portal. That's your one-stop shop for quick data, finding out what you have for centerline miles, the data that was last inspected. And it's also the repository for all your reports and all your mapping as well in PDF format. So if you ever needed to print a copy, by all means, feel free to call me. But at the same time, we have it right there at your fingertips as well.
The other thing that's nice about that link too, there's a website that we provide a link to. It's called roadresource.org. And that provides the federal website and it has all the latest and greatest information about different treatments. So if you ever have a question or you're thinking about trying something, of course, you can talk to us. We can help you with it, but you can also go to that website. It's a very good resource. We use it all the time. The history Tito pointed out on the right, you can see we're starting to build that history. A lot of the towns we've worked in, we've got, say, 10 or 12 bars going across because we've got 12 years worth of data. And that it's important to, on an annual basis, to maintain it. Or even with our new program, you can actually maintain it on the fly as you complete a project as well. So that's something that we provide now. So it's a live database. You have deterioration happening behind the scenes. So if you weren't to do any improvements this year, which you're not, you're going to do road work. But if you didn't, then that 77.79 would most likely become a 75.79. You're going to lose about 2 points annually if you don't do any work at all. Next slide, Tito, which gets into the scenarios on your budgeting and forecasting out what you need to maintain or what you need to improve your roadway network. As part of pavement management, you've always want to establish a goal. You know, where do I want to, here's where I am today, but where do I want to be in the future? And you should always be looking to improve your roadway network. Over time, as you improve it, it's going to be easier to maintain. So ultimately, be nice to get into some type of a maintenance where you can just be doing routine maintenance or preservation. It's hard to get there, but if you stick to the plan, if you stick to the prioritization process and I like to say, I'm trying to think what show it was, but trust the process. You need to trust the process once you establish. I think it's in The Office as well.
Right,
The Office. So you have to trust the process. But what this is showing here is that based on your current score, you need a certain amount of money to maintain, which is about $340,000 annually to maintain your current score. Now you have a good score, so it's going to cost a little bit more money to maintain that. Luckily, you have a lot of that coming from Chapter 90, and then you would just need to also add additional money locally if possible. We can run different forecast models for you. We can run it based on the different types of repairs. And I forgot to mention the pie chart on the left represents the distribution of the different repairs. So we could run 3 different models for you. We can say this is a model that's going to be strictly more minor rehab type work, or we can do a preservation type model. This is really more of a balanced type model. Some communities will do a balanced model annually. Some will rotate it. One year might be more of a mill and pave type opportunities, or you might do more preservation, chip sealing, rubber chip, crack sealing. So we can work with you in developing a plan that makes sense and within your budgetary needs. But ultimately, you need $340,000 to maintain your current score and about $500,000 to reach an 80. So planning and prioritization, that's what we've been working on now, on developing a capital plan. We always recommend that you do at least a 3-year plan. Some communities do 5, some even do 10, but I recommend really at least doing a 3-year plan. When developing the plan, we look beyond just the condition of the roads. So again, every roadway scored 0 to 100. Every roadway is assigned a roadway functional classification. Collector roadways, local roadways, cul-de-sacs and dead ends. So they're all classified and they all carry different volumes of traffic. So the cost benefit value, what that does is it provides you with the ability to look beyond just the score. You may have a roadway that scores a 50, doesn't carry a lot of traffic, a roadway that scores a 50 that does carry a lot of traffic. So that's how you can better prioritize using the volume of traffic to help identify what year a project might be completed. You also need to consider other considerations such as utilities, drainage in particular. You may have sidewalks and ramps. I don't think you have a lot sidewalks and ramps here in town, but that's also important. If you do have that situation where you're improving a road and you do have a curb ramp, it's required by law that you need to bring that up to standard. So, ultimately, just in conclusion, we've established a comprehensive inventory of data for the town. You have the ability now to use that, like Tito described, through the Manage My Roads platform. The program is designed to help you maximize the dollars that you have to program your road improvements. And then ultimately, again, the life cycle nature of pavement management, where you need to maintain the roads as they're improved, so your program is always up to date. And then we're here to help you, with whatever you need to maintain the program. So with that, we can take questions.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Georgia.
I noticed in the beginning, you were saying the good and some that weren't so good.
The
And
road examples?
on the road
Okay.
examples,
Yeah.
and one on just the one that clicked back. The East Main Street one, that's a state highway.
It's a
So
state
you-
numbered route.
Right, and so that's included in our low level, let's say, of 77, even though it's a high number, you're
Right.
saying.
I believe it's a state numbered route, but it's a town accepted road.
Right, but we wouldn't maintain,
That's the one in the industrial park?
I don't know. That's what I
East
guess
Main
my
Street?
question.
Because that
Part-
doesn't look
part
like
of it-
East Main Street.
No,
Doesn't
that,
look like.
I think it's mislabeled. I think it's, you want the,
That's not East
that is
Main
not
Street.
East.
Yeah, that's not
Oh,
East
all
Main.
right.
Yes.
It's not East
Okay.
Main. I think you're right. Looking at that, that's not East Main.
Unless it's the industrial park
That's
road,
really
which
worse.
is
Yeah,
Right.
that's
It's
not
ours,
right, East Main
which is ours on East Main Street, but it's not the real.
Have the live system?
East Main Street.
Okay, we'll have to check that.
We'll get that correct. Yeah, it might be where that is.
That's
but
what that is.
That's not
That's-
the
We'll rectify
All
that.
right.
That's not the
Okay.
highway.
But you bring up a good question, though. You do have state roads
Right,
that are town accepted.
We don't have any.
So if you had that, there is a state program now that helps
But
pay.
if you go out of town here and you look down Industrial Park.
I think that's
might be
what that
road,
is.
That's the
Yeah,
old Route
that's-
7.
Yeah,
That's probably is still classified as East Street.
Yeah.
East Main Street, it is.
But it's just
classified.
goes, it's almost like a private, it's still a town road.
It's still.
Yeah.
It is.
But it's that one, I was just
Don't you
thinking.
think?
Yeah,
That's what that road is?
I mean, I was just thinking.
Yeah,
East
which is
Main
right. It is
Street
East Main Street.
yeah.
Right.
The roads he's talking, the state numbered town roads, like 183 falls under that.
Okay.
We're actually doing, it's like 2.6 miles is getting done this year through that program.
Yeah, so that's a great.
Lennox line down.
The lower
that's-
ice, yeah.
That's getting done at some point this season.
So the DOT is, the state's paying for that project.
They're taking care of everything.
But we have paved our roads with town money before.
Right.
Right, but.
This is a new program.
The new
I'm saying, but
Yeah.
we do pave our roads in the past.
I mean, we have to reapply and try and get it, or we could do, ourselves if there was a section and we couldn't get more funding. But the worst section of it, they are doing this year, the
Good.
2.6 miles.
So that's called the municipal paving program.
Yep.
And that's something that we've been encouraging the towns to look into. Call your district representative, find out if there's something that's coming. Because that way you're not using your own Chapter 90 money or local appropriations to improve that road.
And we're on top of those. We've also applied
Yeah.
for the
Good.
municipal culvert improvement
Yes,
program. For
love those grants, right?
We're after all those. We did identify a 5-year plan where, the board's going to get access to all this. So you guys will be able to see all this, get in, fool around with it. It also includes a 5-year plan where using Chapter 90 money, we'll be investing $500,000 a year into our roads and much less this upcoming year because we're doing 183 through the grant program. But in the subsequent years, we'll be using $500,000 and it'll all be able to be funded because we have 814,000 of Chapter 90 currently. We get about 390. So over those 5 years, we're going to have enough to come in that we'll be able to do this all with Chapter 90 and get our roads above 80.
So most towns that have the mileage that you have don't have this type of program in place. So that it's, kudos to the town for the road scoring as well as they did, but continually funding the program the way you have. So it says a lot about the community. And I'm really excited about that program. So every time I hear about it, I get really excited. That's saving you money right away.
It's over
Yeah.
2.5 miles that we
Right.
don't pay,
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot about 183, state.
Yeah, it's the state number.
We take
Yeah.
care of it. That's the only one, correct?
At least for
Yes.
everything else is state.
State does everything else.
Are there any other
Any other
questions?
questions? Anyone from the floor have a question?
The only thing I had was, the one that scored the 14, Laurel Lane's private, right, Georgia?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, not that that's very long, but.
No, I mean, it only has like 3 houses on it.
Yeah.
About that 80.
And it's a dead end,
So-
so it's not, like, we don't maintain it, we don't plow it.
So if it's private, then you need, let us know. And typically these types of programs, we're not even through it for 1 year yet. So it usually takes a year to kind of shake it out.
Yeah.
And if there's roads that we could have missed, we can add, or maybe a road that is private that we inspected it's going to only help your score. So.
Right.
So as we progress over the next 5 years, do you come each year and go over the roads we did?
We want to meet with you at the end of the construction season and then update the roads to reflect the work you did.
Okay.
And then we'll track, like your goal is to get to an 80. So every year when we're updating it, we're going to see how you're progressing. So that's part of the process.
Okay.
You don't need to rescan your roads every year.
But if you find a road deteriorating quicker than you planned on, we can have you reevaluate.
Right.
Road too.
Yep. So and one thing like the plan that you alluded to, so hopefully that plan is completed in total, but as it's completed annually, we'd be updating it in the
So
program.
if we have like a really bad flooding issue, after that, if we have some roads in question, we can call you to,
I would reach out to Tito.
and then do an inspection on those roads.
So it's fluid in nature, and that's one thing about pavement is that like this was a snapshot on that week when we inspected the roads. Gravel roads, I did want to mention the gravel roads are in the program, so they are mapped. So you can, I know you have maintenance related to your gravel roads as well, and how you fund those. Does that come out of your chapter 90 funds now, or is that your, do you have?
It can be.
Budget.
Right now, it's out of our operating.
Out of operating. So that's something that I would like to talk to you about, is we can provide data for you in the program on those 6 miles of gravel road. We did a lot of work with Mount Washington on their program, so we have a model that you could probably use.
And with this budget season, one of the things that I've been working on and coming is we have this one with a 5-year plan that you guys will have. We've started the work, which on a 5-year vehicle replacement plan. And we have our dam work that we'll be talking about later, which we'll be developing a 5-year plan for this. So everything is 5-year plans. And then hopefully what we do is every year, we just add another year onto it. And then what are we going to do that following year? So we're always keeping our eyes 5 years down the road as to what we know is coming or we expect is coming. And then we still have to be prepared for those curveballs that are thrown to us.
Well, one thing I recommend incorporating into the program is your culverts, cross culverts, any pipes. That's good to work into the pavement management program, because that could also help with how you prioritize projects. Because you may have a culvert that you may be pursuing for a grant that you might end up replacing or upgrading.
Yeah.
So you may want to hold off on, paving that segment of road or that road in total.
Actually, this year's plan, part of Main Street, actually I cut it back because there's going to be bridge work with water and sewer and stuff. So I'm doing less of it that was on the first year of a section of it from like Church Street past the golf course to the bridge. We're not going to do that this year as part of this because of that, because of construction that's going to be going on.
Good.
So we've adapted with projects.
Perfect. So you sequence it as
Right.
such.
Mike's water department, and I've already showed him the 5-year plan, and that way there we can be on board. He has some projects he wants to do. He might be able to jump them up a year, or he can talk to me. We might need to postpone it, but the communication has already been in the works because of this plan has helped the.
So that kind of jump starts it.
Right.
So we can.
It's been a help us talking
Okay.
by using this as a guide.
Perfect. So we can tweak the plan based on your input on the utilities and then push it out a year if we need to.
And we currently have 2 project culverts as Rattlesnake and then
Is that from the grant program, or is that being?
2 different grant programs that we're working on, 2 different culverts. Yeah.
I mean, people talk about resiliency and flooding, they all think about coastal,
Yeah.
but you have issues out here too that are different, and it's more, resiliency is more related to culverts and bridges, flooding of streams and so forth. So it's important that you take care of that.
I see some questions on the board. Hugh? Did you have a question? All right, Don Shavon,
Yeah,
do you,
thank you. Do you evaluate dirt roads as well?
We didn't evaluate the dirt roads, but they were included in the inventory. We could certainly do that. You know, the one thing with dirt roads is it's really a snapshot that day, that moment when we look at the information. But it's good. I think it's more useful to go out, take a ride. Let's go to the gravel roads, see what's working, what's not. Do you have severe mud issues on gravel roads?
Yeah.
So especially now, right?
You know,
What are you using for that? You know, using different types of gravel mix. There's the recycled shingles that can be utilized to help stabilize the road. So we can help you with that. We do have some techniques that we can help you with.
recycle.
And we did include them in the inventory, so they are in the system, so.
You know what we can do is in the platform, Tito, we should separate out a tab just for the
Just
gravel
for the
roads.
gravel, yes.
And then that way you can go right into the gravel road platform and see where your gravel roads are.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
You.
I have Hugh.
Hello.
You're on.
I just want to say I'm very pleased with this report. I know when I was standing there looking at resurfacing the skating park with Joel from Indus, your name was brought up. And I'm glad your name was brought up. I'm pleased with the report. But also, I know we had spoken about evaluating 2 parking lots as well, the fire department and the town hall. I didn't know if those were part of this package or not. And also, thank you for the kudos for recognizing how important it is, even for small communities, to be proactive with planning before spending money. I know we put a lot of work in that. I know the office manager and you were talking about the rural routes program as well with state paving. And we might want to look into Main Street because I think that's got a rural route number on it as well. So thank you for the work that you did. I'm pleased with the report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have a parking lot module. If you're interested, we can help you with that too.
Yeah.
Actually, Tito's done quite a few parking lots.
Yeah.
It's really similar to the pavement. It's more of a visual where you go out, we actually identify the perimeter of the lot. So you're going to know the square yards, just like a road. And then we're going to go out and evaluate it ideally off peak. So we can really get a view of the parking lot so the cars aren't there. So typically we would do it either on the weekend or we would do it, off peak during the week.
All right. That's something else we can consider as we build our projections out on all these various projects.
Okay.
And real quick, one more thing I was very interested to talk to you about was your opinion and your experience with micro seal and, fog seal and that sort of stuff as part of the maintenance program. Is that listed in this report or is that something else?
We have it listed as there's a menu of different treatments that are included in the preservation program. So yes, it's an option to the town. And we certainly can help you with that.
Yep.
And, we're very familiar with those treatments and fog seal. In particular, we're seeing, I'll say an uptick in that use in the last few years. And then there's a lot of good, micro surfacing, whether it's double micro, cape seal, crack sealing, I think are good as well. We just need to pick the appropriate roadway for those treatments.
Yeah, because I used to spend some time visiting another community after different events because I know they use the fog seal and tried some things. So I was really putting some effort in and seeing how that wore and wear before we introduced it in our own town. So I was just really looking forward to working on this. It's too bad. But thank you. It's a real nice report and I really appreciate the effort. So I'm glad I reached out to you.
Thanks, Hugh.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the floor? Okay, the board?
Nope.
Michael? No? Okay. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Hugh. See you again soon.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the museum this time though.
I got a bunch of other ones on there.
All right. So the
Oh,
next,
thank you. All right, thank you. It was nice meeting you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Pleasure.
thank
Nice
you.
meeting you. Good to see you.
Yes.
The next thing on our agenda is the Josh Billings Runaround, 49th annual. Is there anyone here that's speaking about it, or we just?
They submitted their letter just asking for permission.
And so we want to make sure we coordinate it with Bob to make sure that the routes are all in perfect condition.
We'll have our safety meeting ahead of time with them, everything else, so coordinate that. Yes.
I'll make a motion. We granted the permission to run the Josh.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All that passes. We would like to announce there's an opening on the Agricultural and Forestry Commission. If anyone is interested, please email the Select Board office with your letter of interest. And we will, in 2 weeks, we can appoint someone. The next one, appoint to fill the opening, which we had announced on the Cemetery Commission. We have 2 applicants, Karen Spies and Cheryl Ressa-Terrace. We have received email letters from both. And do we have any discussion? Dr. Georgia? Or question?
Looking for them?
Yeah.
Here,
Oh, I have them. You need them?
I'm going to share mine.
Here's this one. And then this one. That's Karen, and then there's Cheryl. Right here.
Yeah.
You have them? All right, they're both are interested. Cheryl is and lives on Church Street. Karen lives in Lenox. And we have 1 opening.
I spoke to Cheryl. She's very, very interested.
Mhm. And she's on Laurel Hill. I know many times we do consider part-time Stockbridge residents, and we try to take a local resident, a Stockbridge resident when possible. Any thoughts?
I would probably go with Cheryl, Stockbridge resident. I mean, they're both great candidates,
They're both great.
but I think we should defer to it first.
Me too. I do too, because if we have a local resident,
I'll make them.
Excuse me. I'm the chair of the Cemetery Commission. I'm glad that Cheryl spoke to you. She has not spoken to anyone on the Cemetery Commission. I don't even know what she looks like. And I think that that's not very helpful in terms of moving forward. It's a small group. We work really well together. This is Karen Spies, and she's read the minutes. She met with me. She would answer questions. I've heard nothing from Cheryl. And just because she lives on Church Street, it's not a good reason. That's not enough of a reason.
I'm supporting Cheryl, not for that reason, because she's very interested in the cemetery and wanting to be involved in the town. And I have nothing against Karen. And I wish we had more openings, but
we are going to have another opening in July.
okay? And we will announce it when you give us that information.
I think it is important for groups to function well together, that people do actually get to know each other. This is the second time you have put someone on this commission, and I've had no conversation with them beforehand. And that person left after 3 meetings. So you're going to do what you're going to do, and that's fine. But please consider in the future asking whoever is interested, and you say she's very interested. Why hasn't she contacted us? Somebody on the commission, anybody.
I mean,
Perhaps she doesn't have your email.
and I can't speak to whoever else she might have spoken to. I'm just saying she did speak to me.
She wrote to you. My email is on the website.
Okay.
You know that. All of our emails are on the website. I'm just thinking okay, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, but in the future, think about putting groups together in ways that make sense for them.
Chuck, do you have anything?
I'm all set.
Better make a motion.
I didn't make a motion.
No one made a motion.
I thought I made the motion. I'll make the motion. It was Cheryl was strange. Whatever. What's her last name?
Ratla Terrace.
It's a terrace.
You're making a motion?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 And we'll open in July. We'll fill that.
I'll let you know when there's another open.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take action on a one-day alcohol and one-day entertainment license for the Pan Mass Challenge on October 2nd and October 3rd, 2026 at Camp Mackinac.
Make a motion. We grant it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. Take action on a one-day alcohol license for the Berkshire International Film Festival on April 11th, 2026 at Berkshire Botanical Garden.
Make a motion. We grant it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. Now we're into general government. Renewals for the seasonal alcohol licenses. Can I do them all together? Or do I have to do them separately?
You can do it all together.
Okay. The trustees of reservations at Namkeg, Berkshire Theater Festival, the main stage, BSO Tanglewood Cafe, Tanglewood Meals to Go, Tanglewood Bernstein Tent, Tanglewood Grill, Tanglewood Highwood Building, and Tanglewood Hawthorne Tent. Do I have a
I make a
motion?
motion. Grant the license.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. We're into the budget discussion of operational and capital budgets. We've already done the pavement management program. Guess we can first start with the Stockbridge Bowl Dam Phase 2 inspection investigation field task proposal.
So you have in front of you the Stockbridge Bowl dam. But you know, we have the emergency repairs. What you have in front of you is we have one for this year where we have work that needs to be done on the, sorry. Trying to pull it up on my computer. So there's two articles. We want to do some of the work this spring and then the rest of the work would go to the board. It is going to end up being a change in the budget. Originally I was asking 150,000 for the Stockbridge Bowl Phase 2 inspections. That was to go with our 90,000 that's sitting in the dam account currently. We're gonna need 89 of that for the first part and then 101 for the second, for 191 total. So I'm actually gonna be revising our request from 150 down to 105. And that'll allow us to get the Phase 2 inspection work done. We're gonna begin in the spring with the doing the field assessments, the GIS mapping and the rest for the dam. That'll get done. That's proposal one. And then the second proposal is the remainder of the hydrology and the rest of the work that will need to be done. Once we get all that done, then we can develop the plan on how to tackle all the issues at the dam. The key thing is the hydrology and the rest is ensuring that there is no seepage or anything else happening around the dam. So you have the two proposals from Ty and Bond that are there. What I'm looking for is for the board to authorize me to sign this year's work. We have the funds available to get it done. And it will allow us
So you
to
asked,
start.
Proposal?
you're asking for
Yeah.
105.
There's 100. I'm gonna be asking for 105 for next year's budget. There's one of them, if you go to the last page, is 101. And then the other one is 80,
6 something.
yeah. So there it is. The 86.8 is the current one. And if the board would authorize me to sign the agreement, we can get the first 1 through 5A done of the project and get the project started as soon as the weather changes. And then I'd be going after the remaining for the 104,200 next year, assuming that it passes town meeting
But this 86 is under the money we have right now.
right now. Yep,
Okay.
And this is for 28 year fiscal year.
27.
This will be fiscal year 27.
This is for this year.
No, this one,
No,
sorry.
yeah, 27. This one's this year, 26. So it happened this spring.
Which one's the 26?
The 86,600.
Yeah.
And you go on after, putting,
And then I'm going to be asking for 105 at town meeting to cover the
okay,
104,200
but those,
to get
they'll be both done
1
this
through
year.
4. So one will get done in this calendar year, the 86.8, and then next over the summer, the 104 will happen. That'll allow us to get all the work done
So
necessary.
this is done for the July 1st.
Yep.
And this should be done after July 1st.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Here is-
Yep, fiscal years are the tricky part.
Yeah.
And this is the requirements by DCR in the dam unit, and it will include all the phase 2 assessments.
And you have nothing here for overrides or anything? Yeah,
Yeah, no.
And so you were budgeting 150 for the,
Originally, I didn't have these numbers in from Ty and Bond, so I asked them, and they said with the 90 that we already had, put 150 back when I was putting the first budget. Now I got the actual proposals from them.
so that'll go down
It will go down
to 105.
5. Yep.
Okay. And this is already.
This already, we have the funds available to appropriate. So if the board would authorize me to sign the contract for 1 through 5A, I can get that signed and get the work started.
So move.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
You have a
So
second.
moved. So
Say
moved.
second.
So I say second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a question.
Aye.
Aye. Oh,
Question.
Don, yes?
Hi, do we have any idea about this hydraulic work? What kind of disruption will be? Is it going to be drilling? Is it going to be, do we understand the nature of it?
Yeah, I think we'll park and everything in your yard.
Yeah.
What?
We're gonna park all the stuff in your yard. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you, checking.
It's everything.
No problem.
We're
My
gonna serve them lunch too.
my fees are very reasonable, you know?
Yes.
No, Michael, do you know that? Do you know what
Yeah.
kind of noise and disruption that's going to be?
Well, they'll be in there. A lot of it is just assessments where they'll be looking around where there's different water sources at the base of the dam. And then they will have to do some bore sampling and others into the dam to make sure that the dam is still, the dam had a blue clay layer within it. And if that layer has stayed intact in the rest, then that will mean that we'll have a lot less work that needs to be done. The main thing is also they could encounter seepage, which then they'd have to track the seepage and the rest back. So we'll be, phase 2 is a very specific work that has to be done and it's a requirement. What I can do, Don, is I will send you a copy of the proposal so you can take a look at it. And then if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me.
Michael, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So this has nothing to do with tree cutting yet? or-
Nope, none of that. That will then develop the plan
Plan to do that.
long-term. But the first thing we have to
we have to do.
identify is they want to know, do we have any other seepage, anything else going on that would cause any concerns? And then if not, then the following year, we'll be bringing a proposal forward to do the actual work over time.
That has to be done.
That has to be
We don't
done.
have any choice. It has to be done.
Yes. Okay.
So,
Question?
just a comment on it. I've talked to Ty and Bond, the engineer, Steve, and there's gonna be minimum amount of brush clearing that we're gonna be doing for him and have to put some pads in so that they can get their drill, for their boring, for their core samples. There's not gonna be any major tree removal or anything, but just, like I said, some minor brush clearing so they can get in to do some of their dusting that they need to do. It will be
They must have a
what has to be done.
behind drill unit, I imagine, right? Probably a little drill unit on tracks could be getting in there with.
Yeah, and I've already lined up, pads, for them to use so that they can get in and out. That was one of the things talking to them that you contacted me. It's very minimum what they do have to do now as far as being a basement in there.
I thought there were trees growing out of there,
Well, that's down the road we gotta take out.
but that's down the road.
This is,
That's down the
this is
road.
what they're gonna assess.
This is the assessment, and then from there, they'll come up with the actual
Little-
plan, such as clearing 10 feet from the toe of the dam, all trees and brush and everything else. So we'll end up with a comprehensive plan of where we need to go next, and that will be in next year's town meeting. So I'll be sending this in tomorrow, contracting with Ty and Bond, and then we're off and running on the next phases for the dam.
And all it takes is one root to pop a hole through it and
Yep.
then we're done.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
We have room for affordable housing because the lake could be dried.
All right, we're not having that conversation.
I'm gonna say, oh, I'll do that.
So, the other thing that we're looking that was on the agenda is for the budget. The only other change I have is after we, did the exploration at the Chime Tower, we found that a number of the lower stones were in much worse condition than we thought. The price that we have is $194,000 to do the work on the stones at the base of the Chime Tower. We still have 144 remaining from the original funds available. What I'm going to go to town, I'm requesting that the board consider increasing the capital budget by $70,000 from free cash in order to contract to do that work. The reason why I'm not asking for just 50 is building in a contingency just in case as we remove some of the stones. If there's any additional work that has to be done. If we don't end up with additional work, then the funds will be returned to the town. You have the photos, the diagrams, and the cost estimates there from the company. The company from Illinois came out, they looked at it and everything else. So that who's going to be providing us with the stones. It did end up a little higher with the stones than we were originally anticipating, but it is the same type of stone as the stone we have at the Chime Tower
And
itself.
they are going to be able to furnish it.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, we
Well,
went
we've-
this far with it. We're not gonna stop now.
We've spent all this money.
Yep, we're in the final leg and yep,
And
that's,
this is unfortunate, but necessary.
and we knew there was a couple and we knew we thought the 144 would cover it, but we ended up with 22 stones and are gonna have to be removed and they're all at the base. New ones cut and reinstalled properly, and then we're in good condition. Probably in the next 5 years or so, we'll need some mortar touch up higher up on it, but that's much smaller projects. This is the main thing that we need to do.
They will be using the correct mortar.
Right.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
Everybody's well aware that the mortar used was not the correct back in time, which actually held water in, which caused deterioration of the stones over time.
So I was saying 50, you're asking for 70.
70 just in case. Yep,
Sufficient.
yep.
Because what if the rocks are more expensive?
I don't know, make sure we have enough to.
Yeah, and 194, I've assumed another 10% contingency, so that's 20,000 more. That's why I'm asking for 70 instead of 50.
Because the whole project's been more expensive.
Yep.
Do you
Operating,
need a motion or not?
yeah, if you want to make a motion to make those two changes to the capital budget, one is reducing the Stockbridge Bowl from 150 to 105. And then the Chime Tower is at placing a $70,000 item in the free
So
cash.
moved, is that right?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Operational budget adjustments, I'm recommending that we change the undesignated compensation. We're going to have a retirement payout for our town clerk, who has announced her retirement, which she'll be retiring in July. So I'll be adding 24,000 to the undesignated compensation line. So if that's okay, that's the operational budget adjustment at this point.
I move that.
So moved. Not-
I so moved.
Okay.
I so moved that.
Second.
24,000.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. You have to pay it.
Yeah.
And then are there
Just don't
any,
want to retire, we don't pay it.
are there any other questions, comments, anything else that we need to do? Anything you want to look at in the budget?
At this point.
If
Oh,
not,
yeah.
Questions were answered.
Go ahead.
And I said all my questions were answered, so I'm fine.
Okay. We had a line item for the SBSC for 2,500 for professional services. I'd like to either lower it or take it out.
Which of four, I mean, for,
I don't know. It's for,
they want to bring in
Speakers.
speakers and experts and that on the lake and gives them a budget to do that.
to speak what in the lake.
To look at anything from cyanide, bacteria blooms, algae blooms, to just resource management and the rest. That was the request.
That's in their capital? Or
It's in their operational budget.
operational?
Yep.
And they want how much?
2,500.
they're a committee of 9. It's an advisory to the select board.
And what other kind of speakers besides the algae bloom?
Algae bloom,
But that
best
happens-
practices for water management, lake management and the rest. So if they wanted to bring, that's according to the submittal by the chairman, Michael Nathan, to bring in guest speakers, experts or others to assist them in management of the lake and making recommendations to the select board.
We don't have to decide tonight because we have other budget meetings.
Yeah, I'd like to think about
Yeah, I'd
that.
like to see what it is and why. I mean, algae blooms happens, you're not gonna predict them.
Is that somebody, would you like me to request Michael Nathan to come to our April 2nd meeting?
Yeah, explain why. I think I need an explanation.
Oh,
I mean, we put a lot of money into the lake already, so. Yep. You okay with that?
Yes, definitely. I'd like to
Because
hear
most
more.
committees don't get a budget, like to spend money. Okay. Anything else tonight? We also have to approve the fiscal year 27 planning assistant grant application to complete the open space and recreational plan for the town.
So over the last, well, since I've been here, it's been just before I got here, before COVID, and now after, there's been some stuttering, some starts, and we had a planner working from BRPC who did some of the work to get the plan done, but the community meetings and other things that need to happen have not been able to be pulled together. There's a lot of final legwork that needs to be done. Berkshire Regional Planning can do the completion of that. So if the board is okay with that, we go after a grant to finish the OSRP. That would allow us to go after park grants, which would allow us to make improvements and to our parks and be able to apply for state funding. And you can only do that if you have an OSR.
We got grant money for that.
There's no cost to the town on this. And that, I already included the letter to be signed if the board approves it by the chairman of the board.
So moved. I beat you
Second.
to it.
All in favor?
Well, you've been beating me, so I figured that,
Yeah,
but, I think that's a good idea.
'cause that's
Okay.
gonna open us up to a whole bunch of grants. and-
Just talking about Berkshire Regional Planning, have we heard about our other application?
Well, that was going in this round of, because they use new things called One Stop, where you apply for a whole bunch of grants all at the same time. So as of March 20th,
Technical one.
yeah, so March 20th is all the One Stop ecological grants, the culvert grants officially going in. I believe the one that the highway is going after was it a grader or excavator?
Container, yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
But I mean, I'm talking about like our.
And the
Seasonal
one for the seasonal, this one, they're all
No,
due,
we've already put ours in. This is all.
all due by March 20th, and then they all go in. That's why it's called One Stop. They go all in together for consideration for funding. So,
All right.
yeah, so we have 4 of them going in for
Well, good.
next One Stop. Yep,
Okay, we did.
Once you get them all.
yeah.
Anything else, Georgia?
No,
Chuck?
No, just thank the highway department for their great job this winter. It was a tough one.
Yeah.
And I went over Rattlesnake today. It's pretty good, except for the gas company.
Not a stone good.
No, but you're doing an excellent job. We tell the guys we appreciate it.
Definitely.
we're going to talk about anything else on the budget?
Anything else? Whatever.
Anything else?
I'm here to answer any other questions that the board has. The finance committee and you guys will be meeting on Monday.
Monday.
With the fire EMS and the water department to go over
Sewer and water
what's
rates.
happening. And if there's any other things, because I'd make the changes and update the finance committee Monday also if the board made any changes, because this is your budget. So,
No, I'm fine with the way the budget is now.
all right.
I have no changes.
Okay. Then can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all
Thank you.
for coming.